Hello everyone, my name is Emma with Arizona Science Center and welcome back to our 12:30 Facebook Live. Today we are going to be talking about our traits and where they come from. So a trait, do any of you know what is a trait? So a trait is something that kind of defines you. It's a characteristic about yourself. Some examples of a trait for me is that I have blonde hair, I have green eyes, and those are characteristics, traits about me. And those came from somewhere. There are two main ways that we can get our traits. We can inherit them or we can acquire them. So when we have a trait that's inherited, where do you think it comes from? And this is true for animals as well, and plants, any living thing. Where do our inherited traits come from? Feel free to put it in the comments if you think you know the answer. Okay, so our inherited traits come from our parents. So our parents give us our inherited traits. They're passed down through something called genetics. So our parents are the ones that kind of create us to have a child, and they give us some inherited traits. Only certain things are going to be inherited traits through our genetics. My color of my hair, that actually comes from genetics. That's an inherited trait. My eye color, that comes from inherited trait. I get those genes from my parents. Another way we can get our traits is by acquiring them. So if we get our inherited traits through our genes from our parents and our grandparents and our whole family history, how do you think we could acquire traits in a different way? I know for me, I really love to dance. So I'm a dancer. So that's a trait about me. It's a characteristic about me. Did my parents give me the genes to be a dancer? No, I took dance classes, so I acquired the trait of being able to dance. So think about maybe some things that describe you and think about, did they come from your parents or from something you learned? So an acquired trait is going to come from something like learning a skill or being in a different kind of environment or just making a choice. Making a choice. Like if you don't like the color of your hair, you can actually change it. Okay, so I think we're ready now to take a little quiz. I'm going to show you some traits. Let me know if you have any questions, and we can figure out whether or not they are inherited or acquired. Okay, so let's start out with, I have here a little fish. My little fish here has gills to be able to breathe underwater. Are his gills an acquired trait or an inherited trait? What do you think? Feel free to put it in the comments. So having gills is an inherited trait. That's something that gets passed down from a line. I am a human. My parents have lungs. They gave me lungs. So I know that my lungs are an inherited trait and the gills of a fish are an inherited trait. Okay, so let's do another one. Yep, write Brent in the chat. I see that. You got that inherited trait. Our next one is a broken arm. If I break my arm, is that an inherited trait or an acquired trait? Did my parents' genes pass down a broken arm to me? No, that's an acquired trait. So it is something that defines you. It's temporary, but it comes from my environment, from my actions. It's an acquired trait. You're all doing a great job so far. Let's go with this. Where does a zebra get its stripes from? Does it go to the store and buy some hair dye to get its nice little pattern? Yeah, that's right. It's an inherited trait. Zebra stripes come from genetics from their parents. And yes, their stripes are going to make them unique. It makes them different from other zebras, but the genes telling their fur to have stripes is inherited from their parents. Y'all are doing such a good job. Let's just do a few more just to make sure we really got it in our head. What about learning how the ability to play the piano? Is that something that's inherited from your parents? No. You acquire that trait through practice, time, and learning. So you learn that through your environment and through your own efforts. So piano playing is an acquired trait. Okay. Y'all are doing a great job on answering these in the chat. I love it. You guys are doing great. What about this one? Do you think this dog was born with blue fur and purple fur? Probably not. This is what I'm talking about. You can actually sometimes change your traits and change things about you. So this dyed hair is an acquired trait. Someone probably did this to their dog and they do look fun and funky, but it is an acquired trait. Okay, last one. I think it can be a little bit of a tricky one, but I think you all are doing an amazing job. So let's do our last one. The height of a tree. The height of a tree. Do you think that that's an inherited trait or an acquired trait? It is an inherited trait. The genetics from the tree's genes do tell how tall it can get. It does have some external factors, like it needs to have time to grow, it needs to have water and food, but that's the same for you. You need to have time to grow and food and water and whatnot in order to be able to show all of your inherited traits. So the height of a tree is in fact an inherited trait. You all did an amazing job today on exploring where we get our traits, are things that make us unique. If you'd like to do some more fun science activities, please connect with us at azscience.org. My name is Emma, and thank you so much for spending some time with me in exploring science. Bye, everyone.